Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Sacred Books of Britney Spears. My name is Aaron, and today I am joined with my co host, John Wayne.
Hello.
And it's just the two of us today. We're going to have kind of a nice, chill day, um,
Chill.
mostly because I couldn't get anyone else booked. Um,
Everyone else told us no.
well, I think it was also maybe because of the holiday.
Oh,
Um,
that's true.
yeah, where people are, you know, if people are, who celebrate sort of those pagan holidays where they
Yeah.
do the ceremonial beheading of the turkey.
Yeah,
Um,
I never understood that.
it's kind of barbaric,
I agree.
everyone kind of standing around a table holding hands, talking about what they're thankful for, and then
Sacrificing the turkey to whatever god they pray to.
it's really
It's very
it's
cultish.
it's probably one of those things that probably would have been best off having not survived the calamity, but
Yeah,
here it
I
is.
agree. Now we all have to like get together with family or what family we have and be like, oh yeah, this is so much fun. Let's hurry up and
especially
eat.
especially with some people who have, I think every family has that uncle or cousin that's a little bit more conspiracy theory driven. And
I don't mind a good conspiracy.
really,
Yeah, I think conspiracies are fun.
do you have any favorites right now?
I mean, I'm all in about that conspiracy people made up about like all those politicians eating babies because I think that's hilarious.
That is fascinating that people's mind could go there.
Hey,
Wait,
man,
where are you landing on that conspiracy
I
theory?
almost bought into it, but
Okay.
to an extent, do I
Okay.
believe there could be this elite group of people running the world? Yes,
Okay.
I think it's very highly likely.
Yeah.
How long we've been around, how much people that guy has trillions of dollars. What do you think you could do with trillions of dollars besides give a million people billions of dollars? You know what I'm saying? That you could buy an army, just saying. Um okay, do I believe that technology has progressed to a certain extent? I just read an article about people being able to uh, anti-aging process. I just read an article.
Yeah.
I believe it's possible. Yes, people are going to do it. Yes, it's going to happen. Now, will people still die because their innards just disintegrate? I hope so,
Hmm.
because I don't want more people to be surviving another apocalypse. Am I anti-people? Yes.
Yeah. Is that why you went into the library business,
Yeah.
historian business? Because
hmm
it's kind of a,
It's a very loner
it's,
type situation.
yeah.
Like, but I
When,
don't.
when you,
Go ahead.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, so like, did your school have one of those, someone comes in, some adult comes in and says, "Hey, this is what my job is. I'm an undertaker. You know,
hmm
I'm a
hmm
I'm a CEO of a fast food restaurant. I'm a librarian, you know."
Right.
And interesting.
I like to label myself a historian. It sounds better.
Okay.
Like librarian, you hear librarian, you're like, oh, that sounds boring.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're like, historian? Oh, that's cool. Tell me some stories. And then I'm like, well, a lot of them have been lost to time, but, or we don't know everything about this subject, but let me tell you what I
Right.
know.
It seems really outdated to still have a library index card system, but I heard that a long time ago it was computerized. But then because
Mm,
of the tech, calamity and this and
yeah.
being susceptible, so they brought back sort of the, Dewey Decimal index card, big old wall full of,
Well, you can't trust
things.
computers
That's true.
because one, there's the stories about how at one point, I think they turned against humans and killed a lot of
Hmm.
people.
Yeah.
Just a conspiracy. Don't know if that's true. There's also the idea that our government could use them to spy on us. I don't like
Yeah.
that. Another conspiracy. Probably possible.
Probably true. I mean, I'm actually all in for the I remember seeing some archival footage I mean, I say archival. I kind of went down a rabbit hole on that video sharing site, UsTube, and yeah, back in the day, they'd have these robots like dogs, and I don't know, and I don't know if that just went away, if all that technology was destroyed in the
I
calamity,
hope so.
but the idea of like robot dogs running after you down the street, and of course, there's always people that are going to say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, that's no, that's not how it works. Like, I don't, I don't know. I can see that.
You know what's
I can.
worse than a robo dog?
Okay.
A robo cat. How fucking useless would that be? Just a cat that just sits there and like doesn't even live and breathe. It just sits there and just be useless.
But also, I wonder if robot cats would be effective because they're so
You could
ruthless.
pre-program it to
Yeah.
actually love you and actually attack like mice. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I saw a rat last night.
Really.
Yeah, I
Even
definitely
after the place was fumigated.
definitely still have rats, and it was big. I thought it was the cat.
You went to pet it, and
Well, no, I came out. I came out of the my kitchenette area, and
uh-huh.
it rounded the corner, and I'm like, it scared the shit out of me. I'm like, that thing was huge, and then I went, and of course I look right there, and it has a piece of my cat food, and I'm like, damn it, now I gotta make sure put the
How does it get the cat food? I mean, isn't the cat food
well,
like in a container
I
on the?
I left it. No, I don't have it in a container. I left it in the bag on the floor. Apparently, I thought I put it away, but
Right.
I guess I didn't. And so it must have got in there. And then I found the cat food on the floor.
Hmm. I've heard that rats are pretty smart.
I think they could be. I mean,
You know.
definitely smarter than a mouse, but I
Yeah,
don't know how smart they are. And they must be smart enough for that because they do tests on them all the time.
that makes sense. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. People are like, who likes a rat? We'll just fucking do tests on them. Like, fuck rats.
do you? So I wanted to. I didn't follow up on this last week, but
Oh,
so the litter box is by your head
yeah,
or on the floor
yeah. It's on the floor in the room. Yep,
because you're on the bottom bunk
yep.
and it's there
Mm.
for some reason. This cat that like Natalie thinks she owns or whatever,
This cat that
and you're
she
saying that
apparently
it just
loves.
like
Yeah.
it poops in the litter box by your head.
I mean, yeah, it's a
Does
poops
it
in the
like
litter
wake you
box, and
up
litter box is right next to me. Yeah,
and it stinks? I mean, litter
sometimes
boxes
it
stink.
smells like litter. It smells like litter most of the time, but after it takes a nice fresh dump, yeah, get a little whiff.
It seems strange. Like that's of all the places in that library for a litter box.
I think because the cat has to use the litter box, that I
Uh-huh.
think Natalie's like, oh, it's in the room with us. It loves us because it's in the room with us. It's like that mentality
Yeah.
because it's like it
Is there
has to get,
anything?
it comes in there to use it. So it's like, oh, it's there for us. But
Well, before we started recording, we were talking about making eye contact in weird moments. Isn't it weird when have you ever been, because I grew up with dogs
yeah,
where, and I know that it's explained that it's an evolutionary thing, but it's still very odd to me when my dog is taking a shit and I look over at it and it's looking at me and we make eye contact. Something about that just really is weird to me.
I don't think I've ever recalled a moment where like an actual pet that I've had because I like for whatever reason I do the appropriate thing. I kind of look away and like, oh, he's shitting. I better look away. But
Yeah.
I've had so many moments where I'm like passing by a pet owner and they have their pet with them, and I just happen to be like, I'm just riding by and I look over and the dog's like hunched over taking a shit and like
Yeah.
and like looks like he's in pain squeezing it out, and then I just happen to catch eyes and I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry, man, my bad, dude. That's a personal moment. You look like you're struggling.
Yeah.
My bad.
It is weird because dogs are so human in that moment because they're sort of like vulnerable. They're sort of hunched up. They're making a weird thing with their mouth.
Yeah.
And And of course, again, we know that they say that dogs do that. They look at you because you're part of the pack and they need you to protect them because they're
Yeah.
vulnerable. It's still weird. It's still a very human thing, making eye contact in that moment. Because I don't know what I would do I mean, if I made eye contact with a human that was taking a
If we
shit.
were outside, if we go poop outside and you're like sitting there like and just
Yeah,
happen
if
to
I'm just
catch
taking
eye.
a walk in the forest and I come across someone taking a shit and we make eye contact, I can't think of anything more awkward than that, you know? Trying to find a place to hide for hide and go seek, stumble across someone
Someone
taking a
outside
shit.
just taking a dookie.
Yeah, and we make eye contact. I don't know what I would do.
It's so funny you brought
So,
up the eye contact stuff. I didn't even
uh-huh.
realize, but that like it's almost a nice little segue into our chapter today.
Crazy, huh?
Did you mean to do that?
Um, yep.
I mean, you can either sound like a little mad genius, but like, of course, or you could be like, whoops, nope, didn't mean that.
Totally.
Yeah, fair.
I have to be honest with you about something.
Uh oh.
A few weeks ago when Natalie was on and we were trying to do the seance,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't work.
Yeah, of course it didn't
But it
work.
really, huh?
I said, of course it didn't work, but go ahead.
Well, see, that's the thing though. I've actually gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole myself
Mm-hmm.
into the supernatural.
Okay.
I don't know,
Hey, man,
magic.
conspiracy theories are great. I told you.
And it's been very satisfying to learn that magic is real,
Tomato,
and
tomato.
and I want to see magic. Like I want to see something that's unexplainable,
Yeah,
you know. I
I
want to
agree.
see I think so that's because the religion of Brittany doesn't really ever address that. I know there's been religions in the past where it's very
Oh, yeah, where they've talked
magical,
about like people performing these miracles, if you will.
right? And it's very objectively, you can look back on it. For example, there was that one religion that was well known about the flying spaghetti monster, you know, and
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, how spaghetti could fly. I don't.
yeah, it was just, some say, there were rumors that it was just a way to show the ridiculousness of religion,
Yeah,
that anything, that a flying spaghetti monster wasn't any less insane than I don't know, hypothetically, an old man sitting on a throne in the clouds.
right.
And hey, I'm not here to like judge anybody. Um, Everybody is free to believe what they want to believe, but we take the stance more of a sort of a humanistic. We definitely know that Brittany was alive. She walked this earth. She said these words,
Hmm.
and she was trying to teach and make everybody feel a certain kind of
Yeah,
way
spread
and
love, bring
spread
us
love.
together. Yeah,
Yeah. And so I am very curious to see if there is something else, so that's kind of a journey that I've been on the last
interesting.
few weeks,
Okay.
and some might call it a rabbit hole
Oh yeah,
that I have been diving deep into. um, I don't think so. I mean, UsTube just keeps recommending videos, and I just keep clicking and watching, you know
wow, that
so
sounds like another conspiracy to me. Just trying to suck you into a wormhole.
there's some pretty interesting evidence, you know of like twins who are separated by very large distances, and
Hmm.
something painful will happen to one of them and the other twin knows about it
Interesting.
at the same time, or they knew that in that moment they felt a weird thing and they felt the urge to call the
Yeah.
other twin, and so there's all sorts of things like that which sort of seem like a rudimentary type of magic.
Right.
I want to see, real magic. I want to see, like, I want
Well,
to.
yeah. Who doesn't?
So yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right.
And for anyone out there, if you have any evidence of magic, if you've seen anything, write us, tell us. I'd love to hear about it. So today's chapter is book 2, chapter 11, When Your Eyes Say It.
When your eyes say it.
And like John Wayne alluded to when he alluded that I was alluding to our conversation, eye contact, meaning, you know, I think this is an interesting chapter in that it really kind of tests that idea of, can you speak with just your eyes?
I was about to ask you the same thing. I was just about to ask you, do you
Well, I asked first.
is that a question?
Uh huh.
It sounded rhetorical.
Well, I wanted to beat you to it.
So you're asking me, can you speak with your eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think I think some people can. I think some people
Okay.
cannot. But I think you could portray like, sexiness to a way of
Okay.
like if I do this, is that with my eyes or with my eyebrows?
I mean, we can consider eyebrows, I guess.
Is that part of it? Because like if you use the eyebrows, then I think you can convey a lot more, like
Hmm.
surprise. But like that's the face, and I'm like, if you just literally just took my eyes, so there's the idea. Can you speak with your eyes and only your eyes? If I'm like trying to get you to look that way, I guess I'm speaking with your eyes, trying to point you to a direction. So technically, yes, I can speak with my eyes.
Do you think that, are you ever misunderstood when you speak with your eyes?
Oh, 100%. I
Yeah.
think so. Like I said, just in my small stupid example, trying to point someone to like look over here, look over there. They were like,
Oh,
why?
and I missed it?
Yeah, like why does he keep looking there?
Right.
I don't know.
I think that,
But if we do a general, can you speak with your eyes, and we're talking about kind of like the eye
yeah,
area, which is
right.
easier to speak with, I believe, then yes, I think you can speak with your eyes.
I wonder if, I mean, obviously the language must be kind of limited, because it's kind of directional. You can say, no, 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 to the left, or oh, no, 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 up or down.
Hmm.
Um, have you ever been on a date? Well, I mean, you've been on dates. Have you ever, well, I guess let me rephrase that. Have you been in a social situation where someone is saying something, but then their eyes, you know what I mean? I guess maybe more broadly their behavior, but yeah, their eye, it's very clear that they're not into it, or it's very clear that, well, I guess so, because you just admitted to yourself that you do that, where people will come into the library and you act a certain way,
Yeah.
even though that's completely false.
Well, I think the easiest part with that is speaking with your eyes is like eye contact, which this chapter talks about. Eye contact is very
Yeah.
important. And when you make eye contact with someone, it's saying, "Hey, I I'm interacting with you.
Hmm.
We are conversing. I'm giving you the respect of my eye contact," which eye contact's a lot. Because if
Hmm.
you're in a conversation with someone and they don't make eye contact with you, now they're saying, I'm hiding something. Kind of like when a
Hmm.
dog does something effed up and it like won't look at
Right.
you. What'd you do? What'd you do? But like people are the same way. Like if they're not interested in what you're saying, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what is this over here? Oh, that looks cool." Like, yo,
Yeah.
bitch, I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder, has there ever been times where eye contact feels not like the kind of contact you want? Like, does eye contact ever feel inappropriate or odd or
I think those the when people
out of
stare
place?
too long and you don't appreciate the stare. This is the concept that I find funny. It's attractive to non-attractive people, which this is hilarious to me. Like
Okay.
in the aspect of like, okay, we go to a bar setting.
Hmm.
We take a Brad Pitt in his prime type dude, walks up
Okay.
to a woman at the bar and says, "Hi, can I buy you a drink?" And she's like, "Absolutely, you may." Now we go back, cut to the scene. We have DJ Squalls walks up to the girl. You know who DJ Squalls is?
Mm-mm.
He's that nerdy dude from Road Trip, um, the old movie. These are I know
Okay.
I'm using old references here because I don't know any
Well,
current
you're a
celebs.
historian. Yeah.
Sure. He's very skinny, lanky, not very good looking dude. Doesn't matter. So
Okay.
he walks up to the girl. Can I buy you a drink? Now she's gonna take that. She's not gonna be attracted to him. We're in this scenario. Let's just say she's not attracted to him like she is the Brad Pitt character. So she's gonna take that differently because she's like, ew, like no, stop bothering me. I
Hmm.
just think, and guys do the same thing. And I'm not just saying this is just women, like guys, girls, whoever, anybody, people, if they're not attracted to this person that's approaching them in a nice manner, regardless how it's taken, they're going to be more offended because they're like, oh, you're not appealing to me.
Right.
I don't like your energy, or you're off putting to me in some form. And it just comes across differently, which sucks, but it
Right.
happens.
And so in that situation, what you're saying is that when they look at the skinny, awkward guy, they're like, I don't want to like
Yeah.
have missionary sex with you making eye contact with me.
Correct.
So
Like, I would
pass.
not enjoy this situation. I don't
Yeah.
like you approaching me. Like, stop bothering me. But if it was
Right.
someone more appealing, or in their wheelhouse, then they'd be more acceptive of their eye contact, of
Right.
and I'm almost forgetting how we started this.
Well, I asked if there were times where eye contact can be awkward or
Right.
inappropriate.
So in that same sense, if that awkward guy, skinny, lanky dude's like staring at her and trying to
Hmm.
be like, "What's up?" She's gonna be like, "Ew, stop." But if it was someone that's appealing and attractive to him, they'll be like, "Oh, he's checking me out."
Hmm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just think it's
Yeah.
funny.
I think other awkward eye contact moments are those times where when you'd be in a store or in a social situation and someone is looking at you and they sort of wave and you wave back.
And then you realize it's someone behind you. I
Yeah.
hate that so much. I've bitten into that before. I've done both where I'm like, oh hey, and then clearly it wasn't me, and I felt so stupid. But then I've
Yeah.
also done the scenarios where I'm like, I know for a fact it's not me, and I just
Hmm.
buy into it
Hmm.
and just
So you try to flip it back on them
yeah, like
and
f
give
you.
them
You
the
know
awkward eye
what? This
contact.
is very very broad. I don't know who that's for, but I'm gonna take it. And
Right.
then they're just like,
Right.
that's not for you. What are you doing?
Well, it happens to me all the time only because, as sort of a church person, people know me, but I
Mm,
don't necessarily know, if there are new people who are coming into the church or, they've heard of me. I don't always know everybody immediately. And so, yeah, when people are waving out in public, it's very awkward. There's nothing more humiliating than in my church. I feel confident. I
right.
feel like I can help people. But in that moment, when someone's waving and I'm waving back, and then it's clearly not for me, and then my human reaction is to like be embarrassed, like, oh, did other people just witness that?
Yeah.
Because we all know it, everyone knows what that is. But did other people just witness me waving at someone, and then the person who I was waving at is like, no, 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 no. Like, not you. Stop, get out of my way. You know what I mean? The person behind me.
Yeah. It's like whenever you biff it and like trip or like fall, and you like the first reaction to get up and look around.
And then you see your girlfriend laughing at you.
Yeah. And then it's over.
Sorry.
Oh man.
Well, so Britney's is a little bit more interesting
Yeah.
because, you know, again, Britney's a contradiction. You know, when your eyes say it, I love to hear you say that you love me with words so sweet. And I love the way, with just one whisper, you tell me everything. And when you say those words, it's the sweetest thing I've ever heard. But when your eyes say it, that's when I know that it's true. I feel it. I feel the love coming through. I know it. I know that you truly care for me because it's there to see when your eyes say it. This is one of those ones that I sort of struggle with sometimes because no, Tell me. I want to hear it. You know, I
Sure.
feel like I'm giving you a pass by you not having to say it. Like you can whisper at me with your eyes. No, I want to hear,
Well, I
you
think that
know,
I think she's coming off, and there's an old adage I think that people say where it's kind of like the, you know, actions mean more than words type. There's something like
right.
that, and I think in this she's kind of saying like, look, you can say whatever you want, but I need to feel it. Like I think it's like an
Yeah.
energy, like like because things can feel hollow.
Hmm.
Like if I just told everyone all the time that I love them, it doesn't mean anything. But
Hmm.
sometimes I don't know, it just mean you can feel different when you say certain things to people like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I've heard things said to me and I'm like, but like depending on how it's said or in the moment, like it's different, you know?
I sometimes get embarrassed, and I can admit it on this podcast, that I'll be the first to say in these times, I'm not an expert. I don't know. I'm just as human as the next person.
Yeah.
And I wonder if because of the pandemic, I'm more susceptible to, loneliness now. And therefore I want to sort of hear it and feel something sort of tangible because there's nothing more, well, I don't want to say nothing. There's a lot of hurtful things, but it can be hurtful when you're having phone conversations or text conversations with like, oh hey, I love you, I miss you so much, we need to hang out, we need to make plans,
Mm,
but then nothing ever happens.
yeah.
And you're like, okay, well that's common. But then you see on social media that they're very active with like other people and they're going out,
Oh,
and it makes you think, huh, was that just words to you? Is this friendship 100% dependent on me making moves, you know what I mean, and me
yeah.
planning it? Is it in any way reciprocal? And during this pandemic I've had phases of, you know what, I'm going to be more take charge. I'm going to be more, I'm going to call people up, I'm going to contact people, I'm going to make the plans. But then after a while you're like, I'm the only one that's ever doing that. So maybe in that way, I can see what you mean as far as like actions speak louder than words, you know, where people can say one thing, but then if their actions aren't aligned or are aligned with that, that can feel good.
Right.
I kind of went on a word personal tangent there, but I'm pretty sure I'm agreeing with you. Um,
Okay.
and this whole chapter is really kind of dedicated to that idea, because she kind of goes on and on.
Yeah.
I love all the ways that you show me that, yeah, I love all the ways that you show me you'll never leave.
Yeah.
And the way your kisses, they always convince me your feelings run so deep. That I'm a little on the, because I don't know, I feel like you can fake. I feel like affection can sometimes be faked because,
Sure. Well, there.
but
Go
I
ahead.
might also be jaded, but go ahead.
Maybe. I was gonna say people show affection in different ways.
That's true.
Like my father has always been more affectionate. He was always more affectionate by like he had always like doing stuff like taking us like fishing or like taking us to a pigskin game, like he was always like that was his way to show affection.
Hmm.
Was like inviting us to an event or taking us to an event. It wasn't like the hey, I'm gonna hug you, I love you, son. You know,
Hmm.
it just people were different. Whereas my mother was more like like always sends a card, always like calls and
Right.
asks and So I just think it's different. I think people show affection different, but I think again she's here saying like you can say it, you can show me with kisses.
Well, when your eyes say it, that's when I know it's true. Yeah. When your eyes tell me, I know they're not telling lies. They tell me and that you're feeling inside, and it sounds so right. I wonder,
He's got love in the
it's
eyes.
probably, well, it's probably true that I've heard that in the past, it was sort of understood that, you can't fake, your body can't fake certain things, you
Hmm.
know? Um,
Well, I mean, you can't fake being into someone. I mean, you might be able to, but
yeah,
like most of the time, like get to the situation, and if you're not at up to the task, at
right.
least for the male parts.
Yeah. That is true. It's hard to I mean, when I was younger, I could rub up against a tree. But yeah, later on, now as an adult, that's true. It is hard. I mean, I've definitely been in situations where it's like, no, 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 no. I've had a long day, you know. Sorry. It's no, no, no.
It's
But
not you,
then
it's me.
in that moment, I don't know why I felt the need to lie versus like, no, I apologize. Earlier at the bar when you came up to me, totally cool. Now in this moment, your breath smells like cheese.
Ew.
You have a very strong body odor, and you're completely shaven down there, and it looks like a baby. So I'm completely turned off. In case, look here,
Oh no.
look in my eyes. In case it's not obvious.
Quit suggesting you're downstairs. You know, it's funny when you said that breath smelled like cheese. I read that. I read the chapter line of in the words that say "Take my breath away." No song ever sounded so sweet.
I love every word that they say to me. Your eyes
As
or the words.
as long as your breath doesn't smell like cheese when you say it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an awkward thing,
Mm.
Um,
Well, I think it just it puts a nail in the things that are important. When you say something sweet or kind to someone, make sure you don't have fucking rank ass breath.
right. I mean, it's floss isn't expensive, and it's not that hard. There's tutorials online if you don't know how to floss. Um,
You know, it's funny because I used to when I was younger, I never flossed, but
mhm,
and I know I hate the idea with when it comes to like plastic and recycling. I hate that I use these, but
uh-huh,
it makes flossing for me easier because
mhm,
it's like a toothpick because it's
yep.
two in one, and I use the toothpick all the time. It's become a habit now that I'll sit here and it's just like a little like I don't know what they call those.
Well, for our listeners, John Wayne is showing me I think they're called dental
It's like a
picks.
little floss stick or something. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
and
it's like a toothpick to me because I just sit here and
yeah,
because I don't know if I've seen like my grandparents would always like use them toothpicks and just kind of
I
like a
had a
little
very
habit. Sorry.
no, no, no. I used to use those, and I would bite. I felt bad throwing it, like using it the one time and throwing it away. So
I agree.
it's not that I would save them, but I would like leave them around the house
I do
because
the
I had
same
this
shit.
like habit of chewing on the
Yeah.
pointy end. And it was very satisfying to like turn it in a certain direction, pop it between my teeth.
Yeah.
Well, I had to stop because when I went to the dentist, he asked me, he's like, "Oh, do you chew on straws or
Oh,
toothpicks?"
really?
And I said, no. I said, sometimes I did it at dental picks. And he's like, "Oh, it's obvious because between this two set of teeth, there was starting to be a gap.
Oh,
The
interesting.
pressure was sort of pushing the teeth apart.
Interesting.
And so yeah,
Huh.
I had to stop. But yeah, I was very obsessed with those. It was also kind of it was one of those weird things that made complete sense to me. But then when you have someone over having to explain all of these chewed on dental picks
Right.
was kind of sometimes awkward, and I would try with my eyes to say, "Hey, ignore them, focus on me, listen to my eyes,"
Yeah.
but it didn't always work. So
Hopefully your breath didn't smell like cheese.
it never does. I try to be very meticulous about that.
Good.
I brush 3 times a day. I don't, I mean, I know people who wake up. So I have to wake up, brush my teeth, and then start my day.
Right.
I know people that get up and they'll like eat breakfast, they'll sort of like live their day and then brush their teeth, later on into their morning. And I don't know what that is. Something about that is so disgusting. I feel like overnight your mouth is full of bacteria
Yeah.
and then you're just going to like eat food I don't know, something. I mean, you're definitely not going to fucking kiss me. You know, that's
Sure.
definitely not going to happen. But
Mouthwash
something
is a
about
great
drinking.
morning thing, but go ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
super quick. It's not that big of a deal.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, eye contact. It's it's a weird thing that in some situations can feel very awkward, but then in other situations it can feel very reassuring. Because
Hmm.
now I will say this, I'll never forget one of my first, I was young and I was just starting to like date guys, and we went to the county or the state fair,
Hmm.
you know, and the guy and I, we weren't really out, but we had gone on a date, and we were kind of like waiting in this group of people for like, I don't remember what it was, if it was food or if it was like a game, but anyway, there we were just sort of in the crowd, and he was a couple people over, and I was just sort of like, "Da-da-da," and I kind of look over, and he's looking at me, smiling,
Yeah.
but like genuinely smiling.
Right.
And in those moments, those are the moments where sort of that eye contact, you feel seen, you feel, I don't know. It was, I can still I can still remember that, you know. Um,
there's
yeah.
there there there's something about we haven't really talked about this, so it's kind of like I don't know. It's not really off topic because it's about eye contact, but there's something about when you like looking at someone and you look at them for a long enough time, and there's that energy that somehow passes,
Hmm.
and like you can feel them looking at you.
Hmm.
I don't know what made me think of that, but just you talking about looking at someone, and I was just thinking like, oh yeah, there's that energy. Like if you look at someone long enough, and you can feel it. I don't know. It's weird.
So I guess the flip side of that is, have you ever been in that situation where you're in public and you can tell someone and you look around and someone's looking at you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like, for example, I feel like I know I see that a lot in movies, you know,
Yeah, but
and
I
so
think that happens in real life. I mean, I felt
well,
I
yeah.
do it. Like I'll be looking at someone, and then they'll look at me. I'm like, oh, shit.
Well, that's what I meant. I meant the reason they do it is because I think everyone understands
Yeah,
that feeling of either A, you're being watched, or like you said, you're in the coffee shop or whatever, looking at someone,
yeah,
or maybe even just looking in their direction,
right.
and they look at you and you realize, oh shit, I'm being weird right now.
Yeah,
Which is, which, why not? If you're doing that and someone looks over at you
yeah,
and they're sort of whatever, why not just smile? But then, if I was in a coffee shop and the hairs on the back of my neck went up
ha,
and I looked around
yeah.
and I saw someone looking at me that I didn't know and they just started smiling, I gotta admit, my first reaction would be to like be creeped out.
Again, you wouldn't be as creeped out if you look over and it's really somebody you're very attracted to. Then you'd be like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's true.
oh, what's up?
I'd be spelling out my phone number in air letters.
Oh, funny story. So I I was at the I had to run to the store briefly last night, which I hate doing. Get some more cat food. But while I was there, I got some lady gave me her phone number on a receipt. That's always fun.
That has to feel
But I don't remember like making that much eye contact with her while I was there.
mhm.
It's just funny. It said
Am I
Ryan. It said Ryan had a phone number, and it said in parentheses that with pink hair.
uh-huh.
It's like, wait, who had pink hair?
Did you Oh, you said it was a lady. Okay,
Yeah,
so with pink hair.
yeah.
Huh.
Because Natalie later,
And
when I told her about it, she's like, "Was it a guy or a girl?" I was like,
she's like, I'm fine with
pretty
one.
sure it was a girl. I don't know.
Oh, so you don't know.
I'm pretty like I said. It's so funny because I wasn't paying much attention to this group
Wait, it
of
was on the receipt, right?
yeah.
So it must have been the cashier.
N- no, the friend gave it to me there because there was a
Got
group
it.
of people that I interacted with while I was there. Like, oh, huh, blah 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 blah. You know that small talk that you don't want to get into. because you're like in
Right.
the same area. And then I was like, okay.
Oh, got
And I
it.
guess I made an impression, but after I checked out, their friend came up and gave it to me.
Interesting.
But I wasn't paying enough attention to the group to know who was what, or
Yeah.
just
I got to say, obviously, I love Natalie, and
mm.
I love that you love Natalie. But in another world,
I never said I loved
you
her.
know,
Just to be clear.
fair. I thought your eyes had said it, but
Oh,
maybe,
got it.
you know, the but in another alternate universe,
Mm.
to where you're checking out with cat. Well, no, they might have just thought you were a cat lover. They don't know that you're eating the cat
Correct.
food.
They don't know
Um,
this. Yeah.
and are you weird about that in public? Like, would you open up? Because you know how when you're at the grocery store, you'll like open up food and start eating it. Your intention is to pay for it. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
I'm I'm
But what
I'm
would
against that, but yes, I understand what you're saying.
Oh, so you wouldn't open up the cat food and start munching on it
Correct.
at the checkout line?
Yeah, it feels wrong to me.
Yeah, and it's not like it's like in a box where it could be
Closed back up.
crackers.
Yeah.
It's like literally a big bag, those big bags of cat food where it's clearly cat food.
You won't be
And
seeing
you're
people
and
do
you're
that
like,
now with the pandemic, though.
oh, that's fair. Because I'm just picturing you opening up the bag,
Yeah.
going through, and you're like searching, and they're like, "What is he looking for?" And then you're like pulling out all the
I'm
X's.
looking for the toy that comes in the box.
You're like, "I'm looking for that little cat toy, the rubber ball
They
that
should.
has a bell inside of
They
it."
should do that. A
Huh.
little incentive to buy the cat food.
So that's interesting. Well, hey, you still got it, I guess.
Yeah, without even realizing, I guess.
Yeah.
Even with a
I
mask
mean, we're
on.
all assuming. I mean, who knows if you call that number? I mean, who knows what it would actually, maybe it
Sure,
was like,
it's probably
I saw you
someone
at the
else.
library.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but like, I've got an overdue book, but I'm too embarrassed.
I just needed your advice. I thought you're a cat person. I just need your advice on my cats having these issues.
Right. I heard you say last week about, with the litter by the head of the bed.
Yeah.
There's literally like 1,200 square feet in this apartment. Why the litter box has to be right next to the bed.
Right.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, so I don't know. I feel like that's a good discussion on eye contact. If anyone out there has any stories of, situations where eye contact has been sort of the deciding factor or the beginning or even the end, because I feel like that's been I mean, I've definitely been in situations where I knew it was over based on, the way their eyes looked at me,
Or the lack of.
or the lack of,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. So, but yeah, if anyone out there has any sort of stories, yeah, please let us know. John Wayne, final thoughts for everybody out there.
I said I think I touched on it earlier before. I think it's about, you can say things, you can do everything in the world, but it's about the emotion that's being used. It's about what else is conveyed in that moment. Like if you're not making the eye contact when you're saying, "Hey, I love you, I care about you," always is going to come across pretty hollow to be like looking at a bird and be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, this is definitely going to work out." So,
Sorry, really quick tangent.
mhm.
Is it me or is it really kind of painful when you say I love you to someone or when you express affection towards someone and then they say same
Samesies,
or
ditto.
ditto? And it's like, bitch, you couldn't take the time to like put the words
Yeah.
together.
I think I've watched a film once before where they were like ditto, and I'm like, that seems like it's like you're trying to say it back, but you have too much trouble to actually say it, that you're just like, the only way I
Right.
can do this is by saying this, which is means so much less. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Um
But to back to what I was saying. Um yeah, I think Britney's it could even mean more with like your love for Britney and your like your beliefs.
mhm,
Like you can believe in something and say you believe in it and like even like do the small things like donating. But I'm like, do you really believe? Are
right.
you like gonna do what, she preaches, and like, love people and be open and be this person that you're supposed to be, or just say like, oh yeah, I am like, those other believers, I do this, but I'm, although it preaches this, I'm going to be pro abortion or anti abortion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Even though you're like, but technically their beliefs believe this. Oh, okay,
right.
whatever. You know?
Well, no, exactly. And for example, there definitely been those sort of contradictions with other belief systems in the past
Yeah.
where, yes, we consider ourselves, pro living, and we believe this, and
Yeah.
babies, but then once the baby's born, you know, if it was born into a situation by a mother who had a complicated life, and it's like, okay, well, you wanted me to have the baby, so now I'm a young girl without any help.
Yes.
I
I
need some
mean, you're
help.
you're treading in you're
You're
treading in some dangerous waters right now, because that's a whole another conversation.
That's a whole rabbit hole.
Uh-huh. That is definitely
Okay.
a rabbit hole. But I agree
Well,
with what you're saying. Yes. We're talking about the
well,
same thing.
because we hear, because at the sacred books, we, the Brittany religion is definitely of the idea that, so we have the, the weekend churchgoers, the weekend
Yeah.
believers,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they come to church, every Wednesday, and it's all about yay, yay, yay. They
Yeah.
listen, they're all about it. They wait in line to speak to me, how inspired they felt, how moved they felt, how wonderful I am, on and on. And then, but during the week, you know, they're not always living the most Britney filled life.
Right.
They're just sort of like coming because what they think that Britney doesn't see through that.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
Britney can see your eyes, because when your eyes say it, your eyes are telling her, I come here on Wednesdays and then I'm good. I'm like, counting my chicks before they're hatched. That's not the right expression,
Yeah.
but
I get it.
trying to like put notches on the thing. And it's like, no, you have to live a life. And the thing is, it's not even like that hard of a life. I mean, we're very we're very forgiving about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Very
well, hey everybody, I have much love for all of you. We love you. Have a great week. Please stay safe coming up to these holiday seasons. If you feel the need to um if you feel the need to stand around in a circle while someone chops the head off of a turkey, do you. Wear a mask, be safe.
Don't put the blood on your face.
Exactly. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, John Wayne.
See you next week. Thanks, Aaron. Praise Brittany.
Praise Brittany.